Good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV this Saturday morning. I'm Ashwarya with you. Let us start the Breakfast News with the headlines. En route to UNGA session, Prime Minister Modi says US visit aimed at presenting India as a vibrant land of opportunities, a reliable partner and a global leader. Prime Minister to meet US energy giants in Houston today, address a Howdy Modi event with US President Donald Trump on Sunday. Centre's announcement before Prime Minister's departure to the US, NRIs with Indian passports to get Aadhaar card without 180-day wait period. Boost for hospitality industry, GST rate cut on hotel room bookings, outdoor catering services, cess on specified diesel and petrol vehicles reduced, GST on marine fuel slashed, import of specified defence goods exempted. Election Commission likely to announce dates for Maharashtra and Haryana Assembly polls today. Term of Haryana Assembly ending on 2nd of November. Maharashtra Assembly completes term on 9th of November. And Home Ministry announces Sardar Patel National Unity Award on lines of Padma Awards. Awards to be handed out to individuals or institutions for contributions to country's unity and integrity. The top story this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on his way to the United States on a 7-day visit to attend the United Nations General Assembly meet and several other events. In a statement before his departure on Friday night, Prime Minister Modi said that the visit will impart new energy to the Indo-US relations. He reiterated India's commitment to reformed multilateralism, which is responsive, effective and inclusive. He expressed confidence that the visit present India as a vibrant land of opportunities, a reliable partner and a global leader. He said that shared values, convergent interests and complementary strengths provide the foundation for natural partnership between the world's oldest and largest democracies. Prime Minister Modi also thanked Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for conferring upon him Global Goalkeepers Award 2019. In a tweet, he also said that over the last 5 years, India has taken many efforts to improve cleanliness and sanitation, fulfilling Gandhiji's dream of a Swachh Bharat.
On Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be joined on stage by US President Donald Trump on American soil. An unprecedented event at which both will address the Indian community. Besides having a bilateral meeting, the event will also be attended by Democrat leaders.
We are delighted that President Trump of the United States, as well as the senior Democratic leadership of the United States, will also be at this event. This includes several elected congressional representatives from both parties. And I think their presence there reflects the high standing and influence of the diaspora in the United States and the bipartisan support that Indo-US relations enjoys in the political leadership of the United States.
In Houston, the Prime Minister is expected to make major announcements that could include a roadmap to increase bilateral trade.
The objective of this is to get feedback from industry about their business plans in India and to demonstrate government's business-friendly approach in attracting investment into India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is reaching Houston on 21st of September, where he will have a roundtable meeting with American energy giants like BP, ExxonMobil and Baker Hughes. On 25th September, he will also meet heads of 40 US companies like JP Morgan, Lockheed Martin, American Tower Corporation, Bank of America, MasterCard, Walmart, among others at the Bloomberg Global Business Forum.
Energy, of course, is a major new component in the Indo-US trade mix. We import approximately $4 billion worth of oil and gas from the United States. And this interaction that Prime Minister will have with the energy majors in the United States is essentially not only to show that we are an important market, but also to discuss investment and other possible opportunities in the economic area.
The Prime Minister will address the United Nations General Assembly on 27th of September, where he will articulate his vision of world peace and development. While terrorism will be part of his address, the Prime Minister will not touch upon the abrogation of Article 370. That is an internal issue of India. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan is also slated to address the UNGA, to which Indian officials are expected to reply.
The view that it is important to play the role that is expected of India in shaping the global agenda on many of these issues, both political and socio-economic. And in this context, the Prime Minister will again reiterate a position that India has been saying for some time, and that is multilateralism is at the center of global politics. It should remain so.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are expected to felicitate the Prime Minister with the Global Goalkeepers Goal Award. Prime Minister will also address the Climate Change and Sustainable Development Goals Summit called by UNGA General Secretary and will take part in a meet of select countries organized by the King of Jordan. He will also inaugurate a solar panel on the rooftop of UN headquarters to showcase India's commitment to use of solar energy to commemorate Mahatma Gandhi's 150th birth anniversary.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will showcase India's achievements in various fields and how India can contribute to development and peace in the world. He will also spell out how India can be a major destination of business in the world, and he will leave sundry issues to officials under right to reply. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Kamaljeet in Delhi.
And in a major announcement ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's departure for his week-long US visit, non-resident Indians holding Indian passports are going to get Aadhaar cards immediately without waiting for 180 days. Now, a notification is issued by the IT Ministry said that the NRIs will be able to get their Aadhaar cards immediately on their arrival in India. On to some other news, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced several revisions to the goods and services tax rates after the conclusion of 37th GST Council meet yesterday. In all GST Council revised rates on 20 goods and 12 services. All rate changes will apply from 1st of October. The GST rate on hotel rooms with the tariffs above 7,500 rupees per day, currently at 28%, has been reduced to 18%, while the tax on rooms with a transaction value of 1,000 rupees to 7,500 rupees per day will be 12%, down from 18% currently. The council also decided to slash the rate on outdoor catering services from 18% to 5% without the benefit of input tax credit.
The hotel services have now effectively come under just 3 brackets. And also the second sort of related issue, to reduce the rate of GST on outdoor catering services other than in premises, having daily tariff of unit of accommodation of rupees 7,501 and more from present 18% with ITC. It will now be 5% without ITC.
The council also approved a proposal to hike rates on caffeinated drinks from 18% to 28%, plus additional 12% compensation, says. Zero GST on the export of jewellery. GST levied on cut and polished semi-precious stones reduced from 3% to 0.25%. Group insurance schemes for paramilitary forces under the Home Ministry will be exempted now from GST. GST rate hiked on railway wagons and coaches from 5% to 12%. GST rate on slide fasteners or zips slashed to 12% from an earlier 18%. 1500cc diesel passenger vehicles and 1200cc petrol vehicles designed to carry 10 to 13 persons will now attract a lower compensation cess of 3% for the diesel ones and 1% in the case of petrol. Earlier, the compensation cess was 15%. Also, GST on marine fuel has been reduced from 18% to 5%. Exemption from GST on import of specified defence goods not being manufactured indigenously to factor in the creation of the Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir as well as Ladakh. Suitable amendments in the Central GST Act and the Union Territories GST Acts has been made, and the corresponding state GST Acts have also been approved.
Slide fasteners, the zips as they say, have been reduced from 18 to 12%. Marine fuel, 18 to 5%. 0.5% FO is added there. Then 12 to 5% on wet grinders consisting of stone as a grinder. 5% to nil on dried tamarind. Plates and cups made of leaves, flowers, barks and so on, disposable and bio-friendly. 3% to 0.25% on cut and polished semi-precious stones. Cut and polished semi-precious stones. Applicable rate to 5%.
And Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also announced a slew of measures on Friday to boost investment and propel economic growth. Sitharaman announced sharp cuts in corporate across the board, bringing down the effective corporate tax rate after surcharge to 25.17. The total revenue foregone on the account of relief measures would be 1.45 lakh crore rupees.
In a major fiscal booster, the government on Friday announced a series of measures to attract investments as companies look for alternative destinations amid disruptions from the US-China trade war. Any domestic company will have an option to pay income tax at the rate of 22%, subject to condition that they will not avail any other exemption or incentive. The effective tax rate for these companies shall be 25.17% inclusive of surcharge and cess. Also, such companies shall not be required to pay minimum alternate tax or MAT to attract fresh investment in manufacturing and to give a boost to Make in India initiative of the government. Any new domestic company incorporated on or after 1st October 2019 making a fresh investment in manufacturing will have an option to pay income tax at the rate of 15%. To provide relief to companies that continue to avail of exemptions and incentives, the rate of MAT has been reduced from 18.5% to 15%.
In order to promote growth and investment, a new provision has been inserted in the Income Tax Act with effect from fiscal year 2019-20, which allows any domestic company an option to pay income tax at the rate of 22%, subject to condition that they will not avail any exemptions or incentives.
Enhanced surcharge introduced by the Finance Act 2019 shall not apply to capital gains arising on sale of equity share in a company or on sale of any securities, including derivatives in the hands of foreign portfolio investors. The Finance Minister also announced an expansion in the scope of CSR activities. Companies can now spend 2% of the money on state or union government incubators, PSUs, state universities, IITs and public funded entities.
A company which does not opt for the concessional tax regime and avails the tax exemption or the incentives shall continue to pay tax at the pre-amended rate. However, these companies can opt for the concessional tax regime after expiry of their tax holiday or exemption period.
The Finance Minister also said that the impact of these announcements on fiscal deficit will be closely monitored. In recent weeks, the government has announced a slew of economic measures, including the mega banks merger, withdrawal of higher surcharge on foreign portfolio investments and domestic investors, SOPs for infrastructure, a revival package for the auto industry, and relief for startups to propel economic growth. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has termed the cut in corporate tax rates as historic. In a tweet, he asserted that economic announcements made in the last few weeks show that the government is leaving no stone unturned to make India a better place to do business. He added that the announcement clearly demonstrates that the government is leaving no stone unturned to make India a better place to do business and increase prosperity to make India a $5 trillion economy. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that the government was committed to making India a big manufacturing hub, and the slashing of corporate tax rates would make the country's markets much more exciting for potential investors. Several cabinet ministers have also hailed the decision.
I must compliment my colleague, senior colleague, and the Honorable Finance Minister for some excellent announcements that have just been made, which will, I hope, give the necessary fillip that we have all been looking for amongst the several announcements that she has been making over the last 2 months. July, we heard a lot of announcements. August, she made 2 press conferences. September, this is her 2nd press conference. So we've had a series of measures, and this one probably is the largest stimulus that we have seen in many years.
हम भारत को टेलीकॉम इक्विपमेंट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का भी बड़ा सेंटर बनाना चाहते हैं, और आज के दिन मेरी अपील होगी टेलीकॉम इक्विपमेंट मैन्युफैक्चरर्स आल्सो टू अवेल द बेनिफिट ऑफ दिस एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी अनाउंसमेंट. जो टेलीकॉम इक्विपमेंट मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हैं उनसे भी आग्रह करूंगा कि वो भी इस घोषणा के अंतर्गत लाभ उठाएं और भारत में टेलीकॉम इक्विपमेंट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का बड़ा सेंटर बनाएं.
And all eyes are on Election Commission as it is set to hold a press conference at 12 noon in New Delhi today. The Election Commission is likely to announce the schedule of Maharashtra and Haryana Assembly elections today. While the term of the 288-member Maharashtra Assembly ends on 9th of November, that of the 90-member Haryana Assembly expires on 2nd of November. Now, this will be the first set of assembly elections since the Lok Sabha polls in the month of May. All right, let's get all the updates. Banchan Mishra is now joining us on the phone line for more details. A very good morning, Banchan. Maharashtra and Haryana election dates, we understand, are going to be announced at noon. And, reports are saying that this polling could be held before the Diwali festival on 27th of October. What more updates you have? What are your sources telling you?
Yeah, morning, Ashwarya. And it's almost certain that there will be announcement for Haryana and Maharashtra Assembly election. And Election Commission has called a press conference. And the 2 states, the term of assembly is going to expire in the last of this year, in January. So there will be, in November, actually, sorry. So there will be announcement of poll for these 2 states. And in the last 2014, there was a single phase election in these 2 states. And it's most likely that there will be a single phase election. And as you know, that both the states have BJP government. In Maharashtra, there is a coalition government. So Election Commission is now, it's almost certain that will announce for this election, and it's almost peaceful. So there will be a single phase, and it's different from Jharkhand, as there was some speculations that there will be an election also, announcement also for the Jharkhand. But it's now looking that 2 states election announcement will be there, and Election Commission has recently visited both the states and made its all preparations. So it's almost certain that before Deepavali, there will be results will be announced.
Right. So the moment the dates are announced, the model code of conduct will be in place in these states. Remember, BJP won the Maharashtra Assembly with 122 seats and also it won the majority for the first time in the 90-member Haryana Assembly as well last time. Thank you so much, Panchanan, for all those updates there. And on to some other news now. The central government has announced Sardar Patel National Unity Award for promoting national unity. On the pattern of Padma Awards, the award will be conferred on individuals or institutions for notable contributions towards the cause of the country's unity and integrity. The Home Ministry announced the institution of the award on Friday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had announced the institution of the award last December at the annual conference of DGPs and IGPs held at Kevadia in Gujarat, where a giant statue of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is located. The names of the persons getting the award will be published in the Gazette of India, and a register of all such recipients will be maintained under the direction of the President. The award will be in the shape of a lotus leaf. It shall be of a fine silver and gold. The portrait of Sardar Patel will be embossed upon a circular-shaped gold metal. During the visit of Mongolian President, India and Mongolia have signed 4 agreements in areas including space, disaster management and culture. In a meeting with President Ram Nath Kovind, both leaders discussed ways to boost cooperation. During the talks, the Mongolian side conveyed its decision to join the International Solar Alliance and reiterated its support for India's candidature for permanent membership of the United Nations Security Council. President Ram Nath Kovind welcomed Mongolia's decision to join the Solar Alliance. Now, both sides also vowed to eliminate terrorism and urged the international community to strengthen efforts to counter terror financing. And on Mongolia's request, India also announced an additional $236 million line of credit for the ongoing petrochemical refinery project in Mongolia. This refinery will be ready by 2022 and will fulfill 3/4 of Mongolia's fuel needs.
Engineers India Limited, which is a public sector undertaking of my ministry, is providing engineering consultancy services for this prestigious refinery project in Mongolia. On completion of the project by December 2022, I understand it will meet about 3/4 of Mongolian requirement of petroleum products. A project of this magnitude will help develop ancillary industries related to refinery and pipeline operation.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah chaired the Northern Zonal Council meeting in Chandigarh on Friday. The grouping comprises Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Rajasthan, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh and Delhi. The zonal councils discussed a broad range of issues including boundary disputes, security, infrastructure-related matters and matters pertaining to forests and environment, housing, education, food security, tourism and transport. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that the country's armed forces must be properly trained and equipped to combat chemical biological threats, as the country's forces are deployed in many regions where adversaries may use such weapons. Singh was addressing scientists at the Defence Research and Development Establishment in Gwalior yesterday.
केमिकल बायोलॉजिकल वेपन्स का इस्तेमाल लाइफ, हेल्थ, प्रॉपर्टी तथा कॉमर्स को भारी नुकसान पहुंचाता है, जिसे रिकवर करने में एक बहुत लंबा समय लग सकता है और इस बात की गारंटी भी नहीं दी जा सकती कि इसके कारण जो क्षति होगी वो पूरी तरह रिकवर भी हो जाएगी। इस बात की गारंटी भी नहीं दी जा सकती। ऐसे कई क्षेत्र जहां हम अपनी फोर्सेज डिप्लॉय करते हैं, वहां पोटेंशियल एडवर्सरीज द्वारा ये हथियार इस्तेमाल किए जा सकते हैं। इन चैलेंजेस का सामना करने के लिए हमारी फोर्सेस को प्रॉपर ट्रेनिंग देने की तथा ऐसी परिस्थिति का सामना करने के लिए पूरी तरह से वेल इक्विप्ड रहने की भी आवश्यकता है।
And with that, we wrap up this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.